This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I don't hear too much folklore these days, and I've seen Nalujuk Night, a neat little documentary from Jennie made back in 2021. It takes place after the New Year, set in an Inuit community in the dead of night, when the mythical Nalujuk emerge from the sea and make their way into town. As they stalk the streets and spook everybody, the citizens put on a show of courage and confront the spirits face to face, singing songs or outrunning their attacks, eventually being rewarded with candy. At least the children get candy. See, it turns out that all of this is in fact part of a tradition among the community to celebrate their culture and ring in the new year, though, obviously, here, it's presented with a bit more flair. The film's visual stylization and its tone are entirely welcomed here, not only to clearly set it apart from other documentaries that might cover cultural events like this, but also to bring this tradition to life in a way that matches the sort of anxiety and fear that these stories and spirits are meant to instill upon the locals. There's also a balance that is struck between the fictionalized aspects of the event and true documentary, carrying the strange tension through the scenes that are within reality, and treating the exposition and folklore with a sense of seriousness, keeping what is happening and what we see at face value. This pseudo-narration is only delivered through text, so the dramatic irony is strengthened a bit by putting it on the viewer to read it on their own and make it align with what they see on screen, if that makes sense. That's not as much of a hassle as it sounds, since again it only adds to the idea of the myths and legends being brought to life, and in this way it almost invokes the oral aspect of sharing in tradition by involving the viewer directly. Ultimately, the combination of the real-life tradition and celebration and the darker tone and treatment of the central myth are the primary driving factor of the short, though it is more style over substance and admittedly not as immersive otherwise. Still, the stylistic choices made are interesting to see playing out, most of all the film's cinematography and editing as it switches between more directly staged examples of the Inuit legends and the true life footage of the celebrations occurring in the town. While the latter leans into fly-on-the-wall filmmaking, keeping you in the center of the action, the former is a bit more distant, much slower, and definitely paced out, letting the literal and figurative chills of the setting and stories settle in as it builds it all up. It is actually an effective approach that doesn't somehow drop the suspense whenever it shifts in and out of these scenes either. It does hold itself together all the way through, and what may seem like a central gimmick ends up becoming almost integral to the story being shared. Nalujuk Night, Jennie, 2021. 4.5 stars. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I gotta say, this whole thing also looks like a lot of fun. I don't think I'd be able to stand the cold though. Not unless I were bundled up like a cartoon character when they have those snow day episodes.